How are we doing, everybody? Just want to turn this down a little bit. I felt like I was a little washed out yesterday in the ring light. I need to put on the other filter for this. I think the white is just a little too much sometimes, but that's all right. We are here. We are back. Long time no see, right? I know it's been a long time. But like I said the other day, the games are coming thick and fast right now. So we are going to be seeing a lot of each other over the next few weeks until the international break. Danny B in the house. Good morning, pal. Hope your weekend is starting off well. United haven't played yet today, so hopefully everybody's still in a good mood. But it's West Ham this weekend. It's West Ham tomorrow. And then we have Leicester just in a few days after that in the League Cup. And then we got Chelsea next weekend. So that's going to be a big match. We have PAOK in the Europa League, and then Leicester again, all before the next international break. Literally a game every few days for the next couple weeks. It's gonna be an endurance test for us right now. We have yet to put together a string of wins. I think the last two wins we had were like Barnsley and then like Southampton, I think, right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Haven't put together a string of wins in the league. We haven't lost in the Europa League, but we also haven't won in the Europa League. So I'm struggling to see how we build on this. Like I said yesterday, you're looking back at some of the results, all the draws, it is eerily reminiscent of Louis van Gaal's season where it was just draw, draw, draw. And the goals, you wonder where the goals are going to come from right now. So thankfully, tomorrow's match aside, all of the next matches until the international break are going to be at home. So maybe that will help, but I doubt it. But we are here today, though, to preview our trip to London Stadium to face quite frankly, a struggling West Ham side. So we're not the only side struggling. But before we do get into all that, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. But as Danny's kind of getting ahead of me here, I appreciate it, pal. Let's give a shout out to the U18s. Cheeto Obi Martin bagged a hat trick in his first 15 minutes, scored in the first minute, scored in the 5th minute, and scored in the 14th minute. And this was his debut for us, his full debut for the academy. So wouldn't be surprised to see him moved up a level soon. It looks like he's already maybe a little too good for that level. Arsenal just love to give us their top strikers, don't they? So they're missing out. So big up the U18s, big up Cheeto Obi Martin. Hit that like button if you are excited for the youngsters that we're bringing in, the youngsters that we have at the club already, guys like Obi Martin, guys like Bianchiri. We just brought in Overy, Lusail. Hit the like button if you are excited for the future and if you think the future looks bright. Danny's already thinking he needs to be called up. I mean, we need a little help right now when it comes to clinical finishing. It'd be a sad day if we had to bring a youngster that just joined the club to come in and show our attackers how to finish. I mean, I don't think Hoyland needs any help. Zirkzee, I'm still reserving judgment fully on. I will say, I know I've seen a lot of people complaining about Zirkzee. I'm not going to go the route where I don't think that he can handle the level. I think he looks a little overwhelmed, but I think Zirkzee's I'm not trying to judge Zirkzee's whole game right now and his whole qualities. All I've ever said is, and you guys have known this, I've just been frustrated with the chances that Zirkzee has had in terms of literal chances in front of goal that he's just not doing well in. He's not putting those away, and that's frustrating, but we have to be patient at United. Our players deserve that, especially the new signings. So hopefully Zirkzee will come good. Hopefully it's just, acclimating himself to the new league. He's not going to get as much time in the Premier League as he's probably used to. So he needs to move faster, think even faster. Because when you can think even faster, when you can read the game faster, you don't really look like you need to move that quickly. The game seems to slow down for you when you can do that. So hopefully he'll come good. Looking ahead to tomorrow's match. So from what I understand, United didn't travel back to Manchester following our 1-1 draw against Fenerbahce on Thursday. And instead, they stayed an extra night in Turkey and Istanbul before traveling straight to London. Tenhag gave his pre-match presser for tomorrow's match while still in Turkey, though. So he did share a bit of team news. Obviously, Bruno is going to be back. He did miss Thursday's match because he was suspended after being sent off against Porto for some bullshit. I don't understand, by the way, how who was it at Brentford who need de Ligt in the head. Didn't get any sort of issue there, but Bruno is literally back to goal, doesn't see anyone around him, goes for a ball in the box to try to score, and he's the one who gets a yellow and sent off. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. This is some bullshit. And people are going to be like, UEFA different rules. That's ridiculous. If the rules are that different across competitions, then what the hell are we doing? Anyway, Justin in the chat, what's good? Was really good. Danny says, I'm not going to judge him till next season, but he needs to lose a few pounds. First touch needs to be better. Yeah, I can see that. Xerxes is a unit. Give him that much. He does have that bit of that Lukaku. Even that I've said about Onana. I think Onana, and Lukaku when he joined, were just had a lot of muscle on him. Xerxes is a big, big dude. And so maybe he could shed a little bit of pounds, trim up a little bit. We'll see what happens. Justin says, sorry about the pocket dial during Eli's. See, this is why I ask you, Justin, if you mean to call, because all it takes is one time for a pocket dial for me to have to wonder. This is why I have a phone case, so I don't pocket dial. And I don't understand how pocket dials work. Don't you need a code to even open the phone? You guys let me know. But good morning, all the same to everybody. Hope Cheeks is having a good time at his soccer practice today. Anyway, so Bruno's going to be back. Sounds like Tenhag hopes that Johnny Evans will be back for this one. He did miss Thursday's trip. I think he had a knock. What did he get? A shoulder or something against Brentford? Somebody remind me. We're still going to be waiting on Anthony's assessment, but was Anthony really going to be in the squad or part of the picture at all? I know he did leave the stadium in a boot and crutches against Fenerbahce, so I doubt he's going to make it for this one. I haven't seen any updates yet, but let's hope he recovers soon. Manu, Maguire, Yoro, Shaw, and Malacia are probably going to miss this one as well. It looks like Mason Mount's probably still going to be out, which I just don't understand what the hell is the problem with Mason Mount. I think I'm officially done with Mason Mount. I may not be fully Ten Hag out, but I am fully done with Mason Mount. I don't understand. You got a little elbow to the top of your head 2 weeks ago, and somehow that traveled all the way down to your back or something and just crippled you for life. I don't get it. De Ligt got kneed in the top of the head, bleeding all over the place, came back on 2 seconds later. I don't get what the deal is. The guy is made of fucking ice. I don't get it. You guys let me know what is going on. Lionheart's big up, top of the morning to you. Danny says, I'd rather play Godwill Kokogi over Lindelof. Danny's asking where Lionheart's from, a bit of that Irish morning. So big up, everybody. Top of the morning. Yeah, my family's Irish. I've never heard anybody in my family say top of the morning to you, though. When it comes to Irish, I think the extent to which my family is Irish is alcohol. But we'll see what happens. Galway's from Galway. There you go. So you guys let me know your thoughts on Mason Mount. There are some people who probably forgot that Mason Mount even plays for this club. For all intents and purposes, he really doesn't. Same with Luke Shaw, same with Malacia. It just seems like every time somebody looks at Mason Mount wrong, he just shatters completely like a house of cards. So I'm done with Mason Mount. If we can get any bit of money for him in the summer, if he can go to a West Ham or a Newcastle or a Brentford or something, then goodbye and good luck. We need to get him better. I get rid of Mount, go get someone like Ederson from Atalanta or something. Let's just move on. On the injuries, though, Ten Hag defended United's struggles and again pointed to the injuries as a reason for it. He says, yeah, that holds us back in our levels and also in our position in the league. When you don't have the players available, you can't line up the best team. And that is what's holding us back in this moment. I don't know what he's referring to when it comes to the injuries. Yoro hasn't even really played for us, so it doesn't count. Shaw has been injured half his time at United. Malacia, we have a fit squad. I don't understand what the issue here is. Mount has really not ever been fit, so I don't get it. So Lionhearts agrees with you guys about Godwill. Danny says, I'm from Limerick City, moved to Boston 16 years ago. My good friend and my landlord are from Galway too. Good deal. Irish connection. I am here for it. Continuing on, Ten Hag said, we need more players available often, and then we have to work all together on this point. that is the players, the coaching staff, and all the other staff. We have to do better to get more available players, because we know when we have them, we are a really tough team to play against. When we have them, we can be really successful, and that is what we have shown over the last couple months. Is it though, Ten Hag? Have you really shown over the last couple months that you can be successful? I think maybe someone needs to get dude a subscription to Duolingo and maybe figure out what successful means, because I don't think it means the same in English as he thinks it means in Dutch. Ten Hag did praise Manuel Ugarte's performance against Fenerbahce, but he was also quick to remind us that apparently Ugarte is still not quite ready. He says the number 6 position is a key position in the team, and he has to learn this position in our game model. I think today is a step forward, so I'm really pleased with his performance, and from here he has to build on that. He says he came late in the window, and then already we had to integrate him during the competitions, and that takes time. You have to be patient. As you see, if the quality in that position is not right, it's very difficult for a team to control games. And I don't even speak about dominating games. So again, that position, it's one who brings equality all the time, and we have to integrate them now into this team. It's just one of the things that frustrates the hell out of me with Ten Hag is just how long it takes for him to integrate players, to get players into the squad. It's very, 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 very frustrating. I don't think that it should take this long when we are light in midfield. It's just frustrating to me. You guys let me know how you think about that. I am not happy with that. And this is why I was so frustrated the whole summer when we took so long to get these signed, because I knew this is what Ten Hag was going to do. And I knew, especially with Ugarte, because he wasn't playing in preseason, that he was going to be fit. So again, some of that's on Ten Hag. Some of that is on Ineos for dragging their heels. We've seen this club do this before. So Danny says, Erik Ten Hag blaming injuries again. Reporters should repeat back to him. Yeah, Newcastle City have injuries too. They're doing fine. Yeah, a lot of teams have injuries. Ten Hag, I think Ten Hag does struggle. And this is what happens sometimes when you have when you have the Dutch managers and you have these very tactical, very rigid system managers, almost like Pep, because we've seen Pep and City fall apart without Rodri more often than not. They need certain players in those positions, and when they can't adjust and be flexible when that doesn't happen, whether that's tactically, whether that's formation, whether that's structure, whatever that is, Ten Hag's got to be able to do better than that. And we talked about that last spring when we went through managers, and one of my criteria was crisis management. How do you navigate your way through injury crises? How do you navigate those kind of things? That's a big deal for me from a manager. And Ten Hag has not quite shown that he can adequately do that. And so it's up to him to decide how he wants to handle that. Because again, like I said yesterday, those kind of decisions, how you respond and navigate those things, that will make the difference in keeping your job or losing it. So on West Ham, their injury news. Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't yet, guys. And subscribe if you are new. We are on the road to 2K. And I'll be glad to do another giveaway when we get there. But it's all because of you. You guys have helped the channel grow. I'm happy to be a part of that. Happy to engage with you guys. I'm friends with you guys. You guys are living in Boston. You guys are living in Ireland. I got people from Malaysia, people from Africa. We live in a time where that's possible, and that's awesome. I'm so excited and privileged to do that. Lionheart says, but Ten Hag has won 2 trophies in 2 years. I do believe he might have mentioned that once or twice. He has mentioned it once or twice. And like I said before, we can say it. He has to stop saying it. We can say it to other rivals. We can banter the shit out of Arsenal fans because of the fact that Ten Hag has won more than Arteta has. We can banter Liverpool fans to some extent because Ten Hag has done more in his first few years than Klopp did. We can do that. Ten Hag can't. Ten Hag's got to rise above that. He's not a fan. He's the manager. We can say it. But it is like you're saying, Lionhearts, it is kind of he can't ride that scooter forever, and neither can we. So we need to have some fresh banter to come at you with. And this year it doesn't look likely that we're going to have another trophy to mention. West Ham are going to be without Mo Kudus. He was sent off against Spurs, which is a big help to us because he's probably arguably one of their best players. Fulkrug looks likely to remain out with a calf issue. Remember the striker they got from Dortmund in the summer. There is a small chance he can make the squad, but it doesn't look likely. But they still have guys like Bowen who can do a job. Mikel Antonio is up for it. Whether or not the quality is there is yet to be seen. So they have some players. Obviously, Ten Hag is going to have a little mini reunion with Alvarez, who I really liked at Ajax. I think he's a great midfielder. Hasn't looked tremendous in the Premier League, but it is what it is. West Ham have gone through a lot of changes. And like I've said many times, it's more about manager and system than it is about the club. So on West Ham, like United, they are struggling to score goals this season. They've only scored more than a single goal once in their last 5 matches, and that was against newly promoted Ipswich Town. They are worse off than us right now on the table, if you can believe it. They are 15th. They have just 2 wins, 8 points, and they actually do have a worse goal differential than us. See how I try to turn a frown upside down? Julian Lopetegui just seems like he's still trying to figure out what his best 11 is, what his best formation is, what his best tactics are. He's changing things around a lot, trying to figure out what the best options are for him. And I think that West Ham fans they've been frustrated with that. He can be very wishy-washy with his decisions and his approach to each match. They're criticizing maybe a lack of identity right now in the squad, in the way they play, and we're all very familiar with that as well. They have shown, though, West Ham, that they can be difficult to break down from a defensive standpoint when they want to be. They can be compact. They can be hard to break down. But they've also shown, too, because of Lopetegui's tactics, that they can be guilty of committing too many men forward when they're trying to attack, which leaves them exposed. Again, something we're very familiar with. And so the chances are going to be there, but it's up to us to take them. Danny says they signed that Brazilian prospect 2 years. They have players that can do it. Like, I thought Paquetá is not bad. He just hasn't been as good as he can be, I think. And so, but he can still cause problems when he's up for it. It's just Paquetá, there's no gray area with Paquetá. He's either going to be really good on the day or he's going to be really shit on the day. And so you just never know. Bowen is always a danger, though. He's got pace. He's got power. He seems to me like your quintessential English attacker. Very Rashford-esque, very just, I'm fast and powerful. I'm going to cut in and create something. So we got to be mindful of Bowen. Dallow's going to have a job to do if he plays on that left side. He's going to have to stay tight to him. He's going to have to close him down when he gets the ball, especially when he's getting balls in his box. Dallo cannot be doing what he's been doing. I don't know what the shit is going on with Dallo. I know some people think that Dallo's always been bad. I don't think Dallo's always been bad. I think he's not having his best season right now. But he can't afford to keep making these same mistakes. And so he really needs to lock it up. Lionheart says, that's another thing. Why did we go for Anthony and not Kudus from Ajax? Well, Kudus at Ajax, he wasn't as big a part of the team when Ten Hag was there as Anthony. Kudus was still kind of integrating. Anthony was more of a in the first team picture when he was at Ajax. And so Kudus was there under Ten Hag. He just wasn't as selected as often as he was after Ten Hag left. And so I think that Anthony, again, at Ajax, if you compared the two of them at Ajax, Anthony was the better player at the time. It just isn't translating to the Premier League. And so, again, you never know how a signing is going to work out. It is a bit of a dice roll sometimes. There's only so much scouting, so much data you can analyze, and you just kind of hope for the best and see what happens. Not every signing is going to be guaranteed. Hindsight, yeah, we can look at the two of them now and how they're doing in league and say Kudus definitely looks better. And I agree. I would take Kudus in a heartbeat. It's just one of those things you can't ever really know. It's really up to the player at that point to kind of rise to that demand. So I hear you, though. I totally hear you, Lionhearts. I do like Kudus. Danny says, I might be wrong, but don't think Kudus was first team player. Yeah, that's what I said, yeah. Danny says, Bowen back in the day would have been a Fergie type of player. Yeah, I think Ollie would have really liked Jared Bowen. I think Fergie really would have liked Jared Bowen because he's a winger. We don't have wingers at the club. We did in like Palestri, Dan James. We just don't really have wingers. Danny says, Gravenberch was another one that got away. Yeah, I really liked Gravenberch a lot. He looked really, really good at Ajax. Struggled a bit at Bayern to get into the team. Struggled a bit at Liverpool to get integrated. Has looked better. I don't think he looks as good as a lot of people thought he would 3 or 4 years ago. But there's time. He's still very, very young. Ajax do have a lot of really good players, and obviously they have had a lot of really good players over the years. It's hit or miss on whether that translates to the other leagues when they leave. You have really good standouts like your De Lits, like your De Jongs. Then you got other people who, like Anthony, who struggle. So you never know. Um, where are we at here? So, Man United starting 11 tactics. So, I think we need to go with our starting 11. Um, because I think that gives us, obviously it's not rocket science. It gives you the best chance to get up. I was really not happy with the starting 11 against Fenerbahce. I didn't think that put us in the best position. And like I said yesterday on Paul Scholes' comments ahead of the match when he was doing commentary, like we're not in a position right now where we can rest players. Like every point is literally a must have, and every one we drop is just right now. I just consider it that much further from even qualifying for the next round in the Europa League, for instance. We can't afford to rest players. We can't afford to give Xerxes a start, for instance. We can't afford to make weird decisions like starting Mazraoui in the 10 when we need points. It's just not, I don't understand what Ten Hag's thinking there. So start with your strongest 11. Give yourself the best chance to get a result. I'd probably go with Onana, Mazraoui on the right, De Ligt, Licha, and Dalot on the left. And a lot of people don't think Dalot is the best on the left, but we don't have a whole lot of other options. You can maybe put Licha on the left and maybe start Evans in the defense too. I can hear that argument as well. Maybe give Dalot a rest because he's basically played every single match. And then there's going to be people out there who are going to call for Harry Amos to get up, get a call, which I hear as well. I think in midfield, it's probably going to be Casemiro and Eriksen in the pivot, as I think Ten Hag has kind of hinted maybe Ugarte still needs time to integrate. Will Ugarte get 2 starts in a row? You guys let me know what you think. I think maybe the fact that Casemiro was rested and came out as a sub is an indicator that maybe he's going to start this one. I think Bruno is going to start. Obviously, he's going to be fresh and raring to go after he had a match off. Probably going to be Rashford and Garnacho. Probably Højlund up top. It's anyone's guess what the deal is with Ahmad. Clearly he wasn't happy on Thursday. I'm not talking about just the shot of him on the touchline. If you look at him when he was on the bench in his hoodie, just looking like a kid who just got yelled at while his friends are over for a party or something, he was not happy. Big up Darko, welcome bud. Lionheart says 100% Danny. At least we didn't let Van der Beek slip through our fingers. Don't get me started on Donny Van de Beek. I'm such a Donny Van de Beek fan, and I think that it was the wrong player at the wrong time in Donny's case, in my opinion. Darko says, Erik Ten Hag will give us mental health affecting lineup, and we deserve it as we are enjoying the pain. If anyone does have mental health struggles, I'm here for you. I can help. Unless you're a Liverpool fan. If you're a Liverpool fan, the rate is twice as much. Danny says, I drop Dalot if Evans is fit and rest Eriksen. Play Cass Ugarte. Yeah, I can see it's hard for me to want to drop Eriksen because I get like maybe he needs a rest, but at the same time, he's been one of our best players. And I'm like, I have such a hard time dropping players when they are in form. And when it's hard. I want us to get wins. I want us to get goals. I don't know how I feel about it, but we'll see. I hear there's not really a right or wrong answer there, but I do hear you on maybe dropping Dalot for this one. I think he needs a rest. I think Dalot is exhausted. And the first thing that happens when you are fatigued, when you're tired, is you lose concentration, you lose focus. And Dalot's mistakes and his ghosting and his lack of awareness and whatnot, whatever you want to call it, in the last several weeks especially, could be an indicator that maybe he's playing too much. We don't have a choice right now, so a little bit of grace there for him. But at the same time, it's costing us in some situations. So Darko says Eriksen is the future, according to Ten Hag's dodgy laptop. If Eriksen's performing, if a 31-year-old free signing is performing better than most of our squad after he was literally dead a few years ago, then, I mean, it is what it is. If that's the way it's going to be, and that's the way it's going to be. If the other players can't watch that and see that they maybe need to step up, then that's on them. Eriksen, I'm not going to criticize Eriksen for playing well. I'm not going to criticize. He's one of our better players. So other players need to step it up. Then he says Ugarte showed Roy qualities on Thursday. He had some game, dude. Ugarte is so much better than a lot of people think. He had a really good game. He's played well when he's played. I mean, barring like his first match or whatever, but we just need to play him. And I think this whole like wrapping him in cotton wool for no reason other than Ten Hag stubbornly thinks that he can't handle his tactics yet. What was the tactical mindset for bringing in Ugarte? His job is to win the ball. His job is to get around the pitch, be the legs in the midfield, win the ball back, put pressure on the opposition, break up play, and give the ball back to somebody, which is exactly what he did against Fenerbahce. Like, there's no tactics there. Just that's what he does. That's like trying to tell N'Golo Kante tactics. N'Golo Kante is the best, used to be the best at one thing, getting around the pitch and winning the ball back. Just let him do it. Don't worry about tactics. Your job is to win the ball, give it to a teammate. That's all. Danny B says, we'd be fucked if Erickson left. Depends, if we get someone like maybe an Angel Gomez or something. I think that's for free too. I think that could be seen as a bit of a masterstroke in my opinion. But the argument could be made to roll Erickson's contract over for another year, like we did with Johnny Evans too. I wouldn't be opposed to that last summer. Yeah, we would be fucked if Erickson left last summer. We would. So, again, with Ahmad, he wasn't happy. I think, Danny, you suggested we're on United TV. Big up Rich and United TV. It's a good channel. You guys should check them out sometime. But you suggested on that live chat yesterday that maybe Tenhag isn't playing Ahmad because he hasn't signed a new contract yet, which I didn't even think about till you mentioned that. It could be the case. But then again, I'm not sure how not playing Ahmad is the best way to convince him to sign a new contract. Like, you should want to show him that he's in the plans. Like I said, I don't think Ahmad would have played at all against Fenerbahce had Anthony not gone down injured. I don't see the issue with like why Ahmad isn't playing. He was very, very good against Porto, which was the last time he played, by the way. Like, I don't get it. Is it a training thing? I know Ten Hag made a point to point out that Anthony was training well and he wanted to reward that. Like, if that's the case, then maybe Ahmad's not doing it in training. I don't know. Lionheart says, will we really miss Amazing, though? What do you mean by that, bud? So, on West Ham, they concede a lot of early goals. So, I'd like us to start the game very energetic, very, very aggressive. Get your fast, your pressing guys. Bruno's going to press. Højlund's going to press. Get Garnacho, get Rashford, get everybody involved. Press them early, try to win back some balls, and try to just start to create a couple chances within the first 10 minutes if possible. We've shown that we can do it, but we need to just move the ball a little faster, especially to start. I think that we need to stop building out so slowly. Onana needs to stop taking way too long to release the ball, way too long to launch the attack. And we need to stop taking so many touches in and around that final phase of play. Somebody get a shot off. Somebody get into good positions. These players are getting into good positions. And so many times I'm screaming at the television, like, shoot, shoot, shoot. And it's just one or two more touches. And then the whole opportunity just breaks down. If West Ham sit in that low block like they can, and Garnacho and Rashford are finding space hard to come by, because we know they both really like to have space, then that's where you might have to make a change and bring on an Ahmad or someone who is better in tight spaces, who can keep hold of the ball and who creates a lot of problems. He gets touches in the box a lot, Ahmad, and not because he runs into space, because he beats his defenders and creates those opportunities. It'd be interesting to see how Rashford copes with Wan-Bissaka. Remember that West Ham did sign Wan-Bissaka. Oh, Lionheart says Ahmad. I think we would miss Ahmad because he offers something that our other two wide players don't, which is control of the ball at his feet in good and tight areas. He's not just a need space to run into kind of player like Garnacho and Rashford can be. I'm good if there are a couple players on me with the ball, because that ball is going to stick to me like glue. I like the different qualities that he brings personally. And so I think that it's good to have that. It's like having different types of strikers. It's good to have different options, in my opinion. But again, it's just an opinion. So again, if playing at London Stadium could help us too, if we do take advantage of West Ham's vulnerability in the first few minutes, and we can grab an early goal or two, or keep the pressure sustained on them and maybe win back the ball several times in the final third. Because I think that because Lopetegui is under pressure, because it is at West Ham Stadium, I think that the home fans will react very negatively, and they will kind of dim that atmosphere and let the team know that they're not happy. And I think that's only going to help us, because it's only going to put more pressure on them. We just have to be very clinical. We have to take our chances, and we have to just not just be as slow and as lacking confidence that we've seemed to be lately. We need to make better decisions in the final third. If Garnacho doesn't get his head up, and he keeps just lashing at the ball with his left foot and putting it wide like he's done several times a match, I'm going to get super frustrated. Like, I know he's young, and I know I said the most consistent thing you're going to get with youngsters is inconsistency, but there's, like Rashford, there's got to be a time when you start to correct those mistakes, where you start to improve those areas of your game. Rashford hasn't done that as well. So Garnacho, this is one of the things that he's got to just get your head up. I know he wants to score. I know he wants to be that guy, but you need to get your head up and think about the team, not just yourself. Then he says, I think if you left, it'd be hard to replace unless you fork out 50, 60 million for a winger. I think there are young options out there. I do think we need a winger on the right because I think we need to get rid of Anthony. I think that if we kept Ahmad, having Rashford, having Garnacho, having Ahmad, and then a new winger would be ideal for me. You guys know I like Bakayoko. I like Kudus. Bino Gittins is very, very good over at Dortmund as well, but he's going to cost a lot of money. There are options out there that wouldn't cost a ton. It's just a matter, again, prioritizing. We need to prioritize left back, in my opinion. Need to look at midfielders too, but we probably do need to get some sort of a wide player as well. Danny agrees, 100 Bakayoko. He's worked with Rude. He's a very good young player. Rude actually improved him as well. I think it could be a perfect fit. Lionheart says, do you think putting him on the wing is the best position for him, or would you bring him inside because of his ball control? You're talking about Ahmad? I think Ahmad can do both. He's shown, and this is why I was so frustrated. If you guys remember the match reaction, I was so frustrated that Ahmad, who has played 10 when he was on loan at Sunderland, who has shown that he can be great in that position, why would you start a right back and the 10 role? Like, I don't get that. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I think he's better on the wing than Anthony. I think he is someone who's played as a 10, so obviously he's better as a 10 than Mazraoui. So I didn't get that. He can do both, but to not even give him a chance is just odd to me. But Danny says he thinks he's a natural 10. I think he could be. But again, this is one of those things that's going to happen. Like, we can watch Ahmad and we can look at Anthony and we can say Ahmad's better. Like, it just is what it is. But again, that's the extent of our involvement in that decision-making process, because it's up to Ten Hag. Ten Hag's going to decide. And quite frankly, the decisions that Ten Hag makes regarding his team selection could see a few of these players leave if they're not getting the minutes. And that's frustrating. If we still have Anthony next season and Ahmad's gone next season, I'm going to lose my shit. And I don't think I'm the only one who would. So again, Ten Hag needs to start his best players in their best positions. No more Mazraoui in the number 10. I don't want to see that ever. Need to get a goal or two before we think about rotating, before we think about the next match. Like Ten Hag talking about taking Rashford off at halftime against Porto because we had Aston Villa at the weekend is some of the most bullshit decision-making I've ever heard of from a manager. If we can get a goal or two early on, then we can start maybe looking at maybe making some changes. But goal or two, that's funny, right? Chris Wood, by the way, has as many goals on his own as we do right now. So in the league, so tells you all you need to know. So again, I think that the team selection is something we know that Ten Hag struggles with. And there's no point in me saying, but I'm gonna say he's got to do better with that. I don't care who's doing what in training or what match is next. Like, focus on the match that you're playing right now. Put your best team out that's going to get you the best chance to getting a result, and then you can think about if you get up a goal or two, then you can think about making changes. This doesn't, to me, like some of the team selections, some of the decisions, and it's just how open Ten Hag has been with some of this. It could just be me reading into it. It doesn't seem to me like the decision making of a guy who thinks his job is at risk. I know that several journalists have stated that Ineos aren't thinking about sacking Ten Hag. But then, I think Laurie Whitwell said that. But then you've got guys like Chris Wheeler who come out and were like, yeah, our recruitment team went to Barcelona to talk to Xavi, who recently was Barcelona's manager but he left in the summer. So it's anyone's guess what is going on with the job. I know everyone's saying every single week that Ten Hag's job at risk. This is a must-win match, yada, yada, yada. I don't think Ineos are going to, if it gets really bad, I think they'll sack him, but I don't think they're just going to hire somebody permanently in the mid-season. I think they're going to be holding out for someone that is their top choice, whoever that happens to be. I haven't seen enough from Xavi to convince me that he's the guy. I don't think Thomas Frank is the guy. I don't want Edin Terzic, who is another name linked. There's a lot of managers out there who are quite frankly, with where they are right now in management, are probably not as good as Ten Hag was when we appointed him. And so what's the difference? The difference is now we have Ineos and there's a better recruitment structure. So I hear that. But at the same time, it's more about, are the fans going to have the patience to deal with another few years of not winning trophies potentially, because that's what you're going to have. And so the fans really need to start implementing a little bit of patience with just the way football is. Lionheart says the boy must be so frustrated. Yeah, Ahmad has got to be frustrated. Danny says 100, especially how well he played at the start of the season. Yeah, I just think that Ahmad's better than Anthony. I don't know why. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. It is what it is. Lionheart said it's worrying for me that our only striker can't handle the accumulations of games. Are you talking? Who are you talking about? Talking about Højlund? Danny says there's no one really out there. Maybe Ancelotti is his contract nearly up. I think he has one more year after this year. Ancelotti, and I was just talking to Justin about Ancelotti yesterday. So I like Ancelotti. The difference, why I don't think Ancelotti would be the best fit for United is the quality of players. Ancelotti can go to Madrid, and there's very little tactics that he's got to do. The most tactical situations you're going to encounter at Madrid are dealing with injuries. What Madrid managers need is prestige, is a stature, because they have to be the best, the biggest personality, the biggest presence in that dressing room. That's the most important quality, in my opinion, for Madrid managers. That's why guys like Zidane, guys like Ancelotti, that's why they go there, because Ancelotti and Zidane are probably the two right now that can walk into a dressing room and command that. When you've got a dressing room full of egos, full of big names players, you got to have bigger names in the dressing room. And that's what Zidane and Ancelotti are. Ancelotti can't come to Man United and look at this squad. We have no players in this squad that are anywhere near the level of Madrid. It's not as simple as just putting the best players in their best positions here, because we just don't have the players to do that. I think he would get frustrated at just the lack of quality compared to what he has at Madrid. Personally, Lionheart's talking about Højlund. I think, I don't know. Højlund has got to show me that he can stay fit, because he's shown me that the quality is there and the potential is there. He is clinical. He has good movement. He's fast. He's powerful. He does really, really well. I just need him to stay fit a little more. The injuries are wearing me a little bit with Højlund. So if he can stay fit for a few months at a time, I'll be happier. But we'll see what's happening there. Danny B says Nagelsmann, but he could be another Erik ten Hag. I think Nagelsmann, in terms of that generation of manager, those young managers who are coming through, like the Amorim kind of age, I think Nagelsmann is probably one of my best picks. I do like Amorim as well, though. But again, Amorim is similar to Ten Hag, in that he is in the Portuguese league and he disrupted Benfica, Porto's dominance a couple times, just like Ten Hag did with Ajax. So he's basically the same as Ten Hag. I think what sets Amorim apart from Ten Hag is his tactical flexibility and his man management, the way he can communicate better. I think he's a better communicator than Ten Hag. But again, that's not always the most important. Everyone's going to have their own priorities when it comes to managerial qualities. Then he says, Lionheart, that's why I think Obi and Wheatley should get more minutes. I think that we definitely need to have someone like Obi Martin or Wheatley in the squad a little bit more frequently. I think that they're, again, kind of like what I've said about Garnacho, that precociousness, that almost like that naive fearlessness that they have, because they're just not used to it. I think that they will try things, they will do things because they just don't know better, quite frankly, because they're still young. But I think that we are going to need some of that. Danny B says Everton is a good example of Carl. Yeah, how long was he at Everton before Madrid came calling and he was like, peace, I'm out? Poor James Rodriguez followed him to Everton only to get left behind. And again, points to anyone who could tell me where James Rodriguez is right this second. That dude's been all over the place. Lionheart says Wheatley, I don't think he's going to be the answer. Obi perhaps, but again, we need to be patient for him. Obi, and I know we started off the show by bigging up Obi Martin's hat trick in 15 minutes, but again, it's going to be very easy right now. Again, recency bias is going to be causing a lot of people to be wanting Obi to start, wanting a different manager, wanting this, wanting that. Like, you see it all the time when we sell a player and they go do well. It's why do we sell him? Like, it's just this is knee-jerk reaction. This is recency bias. This is why I wait 24 hours to do my match reaction videos, so I'm not all up in my feelings and like screaming at the camera and turning red in the face. I believe just taking a second and responding rather than reacting. So maybe I'll start calling them the match responses instead of match reactions. Who knows? So you guys let me know what you would do for the starting 11 tomorrow. Who would you want? What do you think the score is going to be? It's always a difficult one. I know I got it right against Fenerbahce. So you guys know I don't usually like big up like score predictions. I did get it right in the Fenerbahce though. Lionheart says we need a Berbatov or a Zlatan, a goal poacher. I think that Berbatov, oh, I miss Berbatov so much. He did that interview with Rio and Nemanja Vidic the other day. Yeah, I like Berbatov was just silky. Zlatan, I do think in terms of it would be great to have a personality like that, like your Zlatan, like your Cavani, even your Ronaldo in sense of that personality, that person who's been there, done that, who can bring that quality to the squad. I don't know if we're quite there yet where that kind of personality with where we at with our rebuild right now and the squad we have, if that personality is going to really have as big of an impact as it would have a few years back. So give us another couple of years. Give us time to get some of the deadwood out. Give us time to build and see what youngsters are ready. And then we can get one or two experienced players to come in. I think that there are some players out there who could bring a level of that quality, maybe not to the level of Ronaldo or Zlatan, maybe someone who can bring something to midfield like a Nico Barella or something, someone who is experienced, who is really good, who has won things, but maybe is good for a change. Maybe like someone like a Joshua Kimmich a few years ago, not now, but a few years ago, someone of that ilk perhaps could have been very, very helpful, but we'll see. Lionheart says, I'm going 1-1. Lionheart says, do that interview, hilarious. Yeah, it's always funny. Rio sometimes annoys me with some of his opinions, but Vidic is always funny. Vidic, he was actually pretty funny when I met him at the airport last year. Got that photo and spoke with him for a few minutes. He's a really nice guy. He was very generous with his time, very just asking me questions too, which was really cool. I wasn't expecting that. So Vidic is a fun guy. Taller than I remember him being when I was younger, but like I said, next to Rio, everybody looks short. So Danny's saying 2-1 United. I think I did a Super Brew prediction. I think I predicted 2-1 United personally, but we'll see. It's hard to know these days where the goals are coming from because we're getting into positions. We're just not finishing the chances. So it's just a little better decision making. Dallo, if he gets into those advanced positions, just pick out any United player, man. When you've got 3 United players to pick out and you pass it right to a Fenerbahce player, like that shit will cost you matches. And it did play a role in that. We had an opportunity. We had a lot of opportunities. It's just that final ball and that final decision has not been where it needs to be. And so it is. Lionheart says Rio is a tit, to be honest, but he did well this time. Rio can be. I think Rio, sometimes I forget how old Rio is because he doesn't always act old. I'm not saying he's childish or immature, but just he's a very just down-to-earth kind of guy. And it's just a personality thing. But some of the former players' takes, like even Scholes, I love Scholes. He's probably one of my favorite players at United, but even some of his takes are just, I don't agree with him. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. You guys know I don't look at things in right or wrong if I can help it. But some of them I'm just like, I don't agree with that at all. And it is what it is. That's the beauty of having a channel. It's the beauty of discussing football. Not everyone's going to agree with each other, and it's not about right or wrong. It's just difference of opinions. But I will say when you got an opinion, you got to be able to back it up a little bit. You can't just throw stuff out there like a bumper sticker where it's just my opinion, that's it, no response. So 2-1 says Danny, 1-1 says Lionhearts. I'm going to stick with my 2-1 prediction that I did in my Super Brew predictions. You guys ever do Super Brew? It's totally free, but you're just predicting the matches. You can do it for different leagues, different competitions, but if you get a certain amount correct, you get money. If you get all 10, I think you get like $20,000. The closest I ever came was like 5 correct, exact predictions one weekend. And I think I needed like 1 more to get money. I don't remember. This was a couple years ago. So, but it's free, and that's about the closest I come to any sort of fantasy or anything. So, Danny says I do the sleep. I used to do the NBC Sports one, but that just my phone and my computer, like any electronic device I have is very streamlined. I don't like it cluttered with stuff. I hate visual clutter. So I'm always like around the house, I'm just kind of cleaning up. I'd rather clean up after myself throughout the day than to leave it all and have to do a big job. So like my phone, very streamlined. My computer, like if you guys looked at my desktop, there's like 4 icons on the screen. That's it. Like I don't even like having multiple tabs open on my computer. It's just visually, I just don't do it. So Danny says, I was 1 result away from PS5 a few weeks ago, but United let me down. That's too bad, bud. I mean, the one thing we can count on is United letting you down. So in any case, that is going to do it for me. Thank you guys for stopping by. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully we'll be back later on, either late Sunday or maybe early Monday to talk about a win, hopefully, and we'll see how it goes. Lionheart says, I had to watch the United game on CBS. I saw Rio Coker on there. And he said, I don't even know who that is. What's Rio Coker? Is that like who, guys, let me know who that is. I'm so naive sometimes and ignorant when it comes to certain things. So thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Lionheart. Thank you, Darkrow. I know Justin popped up earlier. Hopefully Cheeks had a good practice today. And I will see you guys on the next one. Enjoy your day. Thanks for stopping by. Like the video, please, on your way out. Subscribe if you are new. We are on the road to 2K. And I will see you guys later. Bye.